Hey everyone! Recently I had a chance to visit New York for a series of workshops, and while I was there I scheduled a meeting with the folks at D'Addario to talk about our new project, Be Part of the Music. As a part of that meeting they took me on a tour of their factory and I was absolutely blown away. My instrumental geek meter went way up and I just grabbed my phone and started shooting. I thought you might find these videos to be a little bit entertaining and a lot educational as to the backside of our industry. The video isn't meant to be a commercial for any person or any product, but just an insight into the type of technology and the amount of funding that goes into making the things that we use each and every day to make music. I hope you enjoy.
One of the things that makes us unique as a string manufacturer is we actually produce most of our own raw materials. And the most critical raw material in string manufacturing is high carbon steel music wire. And in this facility, we actually make the high carbon steel music wire. And it's a three-step process. We take a input material, which is a thicker rod of high carbon steel, and we gradually pull it and draw it to a finer size for string manufacturing. From there, because there's a natural cast that's in the wire after it's drawn through this process, it needs to be straight. So each spool of wire gets put through a straightening process with certain straightening rollers. And then from there, the wire itself goes into a tin coating process where we actually put a protective coating on it so it protects it from corrosion. In this string manufacturing facility, we're producing about 750,000 strings per day. And it's a combination of strings from just about any instrument you could think of. Predominantly guitar strings, but also orchestral strings of any nature like bass strings, cello, violin, and viola. And we make strings for ukuleles, classical guitar, bass, utes, whatever instrument you can think of, we're making a string for it.
Alright, so tell me about this machine.
Well, what this machine's doing is making a cello string, and cello strings require multiple windings. And unlike a fretted instrument string where you're looking for the brightest string and brightest sound possible, most orchestral strings you're looking for a controlled, dampened sound. So what we do with these strings is there's a lot of polishing steps. We actually use dampening solutions underneath the windings. We use different materials that will ultimately enable you to control the sound better on your instrument. And each of these machines is retrofitted with different digital controls that control the angle and tension of the wrap wire. It controls the amount that we're dispensing of the dampening solutions. So it's a pretty complex process, but ultimately it's making the string under the same conditions each and every time to ensure quality.
And so how many guitar strings do you make an hour?
Guitar strings, we make 750,000 total strings a day, but like one machine like this, because it's an intricate string, you're only producing maybe a dozen an hour, whereas a fretted instrument string, most guitar strings on machines are producing between, I would say, 150 to 250
so
per hour.
You're investing pretty heavily in man hours for the orchestral art form.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay, so Scott, what's happening here is this is high carbon steel wire. We actually produce it across the street at our own wire mill. And it's actually hexagonally shaped because it actually serves as a foundation for a wound string. So this wire is getting fed through here, it's getting cut to length, and we're affixing a ball end onto it automatically. So you can see here, the wires come fed through, the ball end drops through, placed on it, and then it automatically lock twisted onto the core wire.
So why is it important to have that computer generated?
Because again, in terms of string winding, the two most critical attributes are controlling the angle of the wrap wire as well as the tension. So if you can control the angle and tension constantly throughout the length of a string, you're going to have a perfect string. It won't be wound too tightly or wound too loosely.